What's going on, guys? It's Justin from Push and Profit. Hope you're having a beautiful day today. Now, I just wanted to make a quick, short, and concise video talking about ticker symbol DWAC, or as I like to refer to it, Dwac, right? So let's go ahead and, as usual, just go into the chart. So let's go ahead and see what's going on. So right here we're on the Weibo platform, and a few videos ago I talked about how DWAC was on this descending pattern. It was in this descending triangle pattern, and if we didn't break out of it, things were gonna look bad, because typically with a descending triangle, right, we end up, if we go to this wedge and we don't break out of it, we start going lower, right, which means we would break this support that's held up pretty strong at around $50, right. It's actually been a support that's been tested multiple times, and it's held up pretty well, and we did break out of this descending triangle. This is something I mentioned in one of my most recent videos on DWAC, which was very bullish. It was optimistic, right? But we also are in this channel where we also have this resistance right over here at $63, and it's been a resistance in the past, you could see over here, but it's also served as a support in the past, right here. And if you actually go to like a smaller time frame, you could probably see it a little better as you kind of get like a microscope of it holding itself well as a support, right? So that was just something that I mentioned in a previous video. And then we did have this big run up on November 12th, and we actually did break out of the $63. However, we didn't hold above it very well. In fact, if we just go to a 30-minute chart, we could see we had this massive big candle, and actually this came after the day I made the video of DWAC going to explode, right? But this isn't what I was talking about as far as DWAC or DWAC going to explode. In that video, I was just referring to how the volume on this stock is very low, and as long or just once or as soon as there's optimistic news, and say Trump running for president or the Truth Social platform going out public, or just making any improvements, then this could immediately run up, just because of the fact that it has very low volume in comparison to other stocks, right? Well, now it has a lot of volume, but in comparison to these days, the volume was very low, right? So we ended up breaking above it, but we didn't hold, and we started coming down. Today in the pre-market, we started running up and immediately started coming down. Now today was not that great of a day in the overall market, and I want to kind of just go hover over to SPY, which is the S&P ETF, right? S&P 500, and we see that we were running up in the S&P 500, and then we had a lot of selling going off, right? And part of that is due to some news that came out, and that news just states that, and this is actually something I mentioned in the previous video as well, where it just mentions that Joe Biden weighs choice on Jerome Powell or Leo Brainard. Now again, I may be butchering her name, but as far as being the new or replacing Jerome Powell as the Fed chairman, this is a potential candidate, right? And I mentioned why if Joe Biden, so many J names, if Joe Biden doesn't choose Jerome Powell, that could be kind of a mini bloodbath for the overall market. And the reason being, and I explained it more in details in that video, I'm going to kind of brush over it in this video, but the reason being is that although inflation is very high, the highest it's been in the last 30 years. We also saw that inflation report that I mentioned in the last video, where pretty much everything is being inflated, as far as gas, groceries, cars. I mean, you name it, it was almost everything on that list. We have high inflation, but the fact is we know where Jerome Powell's head is, right? We know that he is starting to taper. We know that by July of 2022 he wants to raise interest rates, which will be bad short term, but is good long term for the overall market. And so we at least know what his plans are. However, if Jerome Powell doesn't get elected to serve a second term by Joe Biden, and we have someone else, Leah Brainard, who again is a centralist like Jerome Powell. She's not dovish, she's not hawkish, and these aren't political terms, these are monetary policy terms, right? Hawkish meaning you want to really kind of actually raise interest rates, right? And dovish kind of not really intervening that much. She's a centralist just like Jerome Powell. However, the difference is we know what his plans are, right? So if we have someone that has a plan, and we end up just choosing someone else. Although maybe her plan may be working out better than Jerome Powell. The whole psychology of it is that we just don't know where her head is, and the market doesn't like uncertainty. So, we had, a little bit of a sell-off today, and this article just reads that, President Biden is expected to decide as soon as this week as whether to appoint Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell or Governor Leo Brainard. I could be mispronouncing her name. So 4-year term leading the central bank beginning next February, right? So, even though if she gets elected, she won't actually take office until next February, but that will be devastating news for the overall market as, again, we don't like uncertainty and we don't know where her head is as far as what her plans are, right? But anyways, going on to it, Mr. Biden met each candidate separately for interviews on November 4th, and he was joined in the Oval Office for these meetings with only one other advisor, National Economic Council Director Brian Dees. I think that I might be pronouncing it wrong, according to people familiar with the matter. Each meeting was scheduled for 1 hour, though Mrs. Brainard ran slightly over the allotted time. One of the people said, some people familiar with the matter said, Mrs. Brainard's meeting went better than expected. So we could be seeing, Joe Biden actually not appointing Jerome Powell to serve a second term, right? So, that is something we got to keep an eye out. Something that definitely scared the market once that news came out today. If we just go back to the chart, we see that, the overall market didn't like that because they don't like uncertainty. However, as soon as we get it out the way, we may see some more selling off, but, we got to see what ends up happening. What's more importantly is, focusing on what DWAC is going to do. If we had, pretty much every stock look like this for today. If you go, I was trading Amazon, Jumia today, and pretty much everything had this sell-off in the beginning of the day and kind of a sell-off towards the end of the day, right? Simply just off that news, right? So, which is why, knowing what's going on with the overall market and politics and global economy, it's really a prerequisite to becoming a great investor and a great trader. You have to know what's going on. Otherwise, you're just kind of like oblivious to everything. So with that being said, we have to really see what goes on in the next coming days. I do have my alerts over here. If we do break below $56, I have my alert over here. And of course, I have my support line over here. If we break below 54, it's not going to look too good because that's a strong support. And if we break below that, honestly, we don't know where the floor is, but I don't think we're going to break below that because it's been proven as a great support. Again, it's not solidified. It doesn't mean that the stock has to absolutely bounce. It could definitely break below it, but if it does, it would be devastating. I just don't think that we're going to be breaking above this resistance that soon. I do think we are going to break above that resistance. Once again, we have a catalyst event such as Trump saying that he's going to run for presidency or, something coming out with the Truth Social platform. Anything that's good news because obviously this is a SPAC that, with Donald Trump involved in it. So anything with him involved that is good news would act as a catalyst event to raise this up. And it really doesn't need that much volume since it doesn't have that much volume. Just a little bit of more attention to this and this could definitely skyrocket. But of course we have to be aware of what's going on with the overall market. Now if this does touch this area of $50 or $54, I wouldn't recommend to just buy the dip, right? A lot of people, they just buy the dip just thinking that's a great strategy. By the way, I do have in the first link in the description actually a free cheat sheet that you could get to kind of talk about how to actually trade a reversal and how to buy a dip and actually waiting for something called confirmation. So if you want to learn, how to pretty much take advantage of when the stock does, sell off, definitely go to the first link in the description of this video. And I'm also going to pin it on a comment. And it's just going to be a little cheat sheet that you could kind of use while you're trading to kind of help you out and, help you better trade these sell-offs if a sell-off does happen. Again, you don't want to just blindly buy the dip because, the dip can get dippier, as I always say on this channel. We could break way below this, and you don't want to be caught there, right? Then you'd be ending up as a bag holder. And, there's a lot of bag holders for this stock, actually, especially for the individuals who bought at the top. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, especially if you're investing, you could simply just average down, which is, I have a video talking about that. So if you want to learn how to average down, especially if you're swing swing trading or investing or even day trading, make sure I'm going to link it at the end of this video, so I don't want to distract you guys. So if you're interested in that, make sure to watch this video to the end. But there are a lot of individuals who bought out the top, which is why every time we have a little push up, we have immediately anyone who could get out of this and take their profits, they're immediately selling off. We don't have that many people diamond handing it, but if you are diamond handing it, then all power to you. Just know that there are some people who are just dying to get out of this because they caught this at a bad time, and it's okay, it happens. Not everyone catches every trade at a good time. We just have to understand how to manage our positions a little bit better, which is why I recommended to check out the link in the description below to get that free cheat sheet. So if this does sell off more, you'll understand better how to trade the sell-offs. And also, with that being said, there's not much more I'm going to say. Again, I wanted to keep this video very short, sweet, and concise. So with that being said, make sure to hit that like button and also watch this next video right here. It's going to help you learn how to average down and manage your position. Again, guys, it's Justin from Push and Profit. See you on that video.